There's another unsung person that was part of this whole influence, which was Toddy T. And Toddy T was in LA, but he was doing parody records. He was listening to stuff like his records were the Batarang, the Clucks Come Out at Night. All these different records he would take, like the Freaks Come Out at Night, and make a record about the crackheads. But Toddy wasn't, it was very urban street shit, but it wasn't aggressive. It wasn't gangster. It was gangster, but it wasn't, it was just more like an overview.
It also didn't sound, sonically it was like more Houdini sounding than more PSK or 6.
Exactly. So, but Toddy was also somebody who was out there doing this like urban edge music. And at the same time in the Bay, Too Short was doing a very raw, X-rated, freaky tales type thing. So there was a lot of people that were pushing the line with the music at the same time.
But then also with Toddy T in particular, with Batarang, something that Schoolie did and that you did, Just Ice did, Boogie Down Productions did, is that you guys made it first person. That I'm the one doing it. Toddy T was rapping, and even Melly Mel on the message, they were rapping about what they saw versus you guys said you were doing it.
Well, also what we do with gangster rap is you change the opponent. So if you're rapping a battle rap, you're telling another rapper, you know, Blau, I can out-rap you, I can out-rap you. With gangster rap, what you do is the opponent is you. So I'm talking to the people right off the stage. I'm like, motherfucker, you could die, you could die. Anybody in this room can get it. I don't give a fuck who you are. So now you're not talking to another rapper. You're talking to the listener, which is totally different, you know, because most rappers, when Mo D's saying this, Rosie is just saying, yo, if you're a rapper, I'm saying, you ain't even gotta rap, motherfucker. I'm telling you this is who the fuck, how it's gonna happen. And that became a more visceral experience for the people that were listening. It's like, yo, this motherfucker just told me what, you know, so. And then a lot of rappers that were hardcore had problems performing. You know, what I always would do is I would always just make sure, you know, after I came on stage, I'd always take my glasses off and I pick the toughest looking fool in the audience out and I'd drill that shit right into his face, like, yeah. And I would eye contact everybody I possibly could and say, yo, this is exactly how I feel. And it made the performance that much more riveting because they were, you know, even now when I listen to new rappers and they try to do hardcore rap or gangster rap, I'm like, I don't believe you. I really don't believe you. The words rhyme, but I don't believe you. Do you believe it? You singing it, but do you believe it? Or do you really mean this? Or, you know, and if you don't, it doesn't come across like that. I couldn't get my records played a lot because I'm like, my records aren't more violent than other people. They say, nah, but you really sound like you'll do it. So it's a little more threatening.
And when and why and how do you think that changed?
Never changed for me.
No, I mean for the general rappers. Because I think people thought Schoolie D would pull a gun on her. They thought you were robbed. They thought UA wasn't a gang.
I think that, well, one thing that changed was Cube and them did clean versions. And I was, early, I wouldn't do a clean version. I was too, I guess, maybe I was stupid, but I was hard. I was like, fuck that. You know, I won't go, you can't find clean versions of my records. And that hurt me, you know. NWA kind of came out and they did clean versions and they got lots of record plays and stuff like that. Maybe their records were better, but I also know that I suffered because of me being, you know, I don't want my stuff edited. If the radio station wants to edit it, they can, but I'm not gonna, you know. But, you know, when you're really on that, when you're on it like that, then that's how you feel about it at that moment, you know. Like even this year, like even on the new Body Count album, I'm like, could you do radio edits? I'm like, nah, y'all, I let the label do it though. The label was like, we want to do them so we can get it to radio. I'm like, y'all do it. I don't even want to be in the studio though. It's like you butchering my shit, you know. But I understand that a little better now that I'm kind of hurting myself because the fans want to hear the records and there's just stupid rules. And it's not the fans' fault. So why make the fans suffer because of the radio station rules? So, but I think anyone who makes art always has a problem with the edit.
Well, that also censorship, of course, was a hallmark of your career for better and for worse. So for you, what you were ahead of it also with early having
the sticker. I was the first record ever sticker, and they came at me at Warner Brothers and they said, hey, they want to put this thing, the PMRC. How do you feel about it? They didn't force it on me. They just asked me. And I was like, cool, because I never wanted to surprise anybody. I'm not into false representation. I want you to know that this is toxic shit. And you can, like I always look at Stephen King when you saw the book and there's blood and there's guts on the front cover. How do you get mad when someone dies in the first chapter? So my album covers had guns and women and stuff. So it's sex. Why you see she's a sexy girl on the cover? Like, was that a surprise? So we made our first parental sticker. It was an phallic symbol. It kind of looked like a bullet in a condom. And some people say, oh, it looks like a dick. And I'm like, okay, that's where your head is. Oh, it looks like a bullet. So we were still having fun with it. But free speech is a concept. It's not a reality. It's a concept. As soon as someone else can hear what you're saying, you can be censored. Even if you're just a guy talking and you say a word I don't like, if I'm bigger than you, I can censor you. Hey man, don't say that around me. You come home, you want to curse or yell, and your wife says, hey, the kids are here. You will be censored. Go in the middle of nowhere. As soon as someone else can hear you, and God forbid that person that can hear you is actually funding the transmission of your information, you will be, you pretend, in books you have editors, there's censors, It's a great theory. So what I do is I don't censor myself. And if it gets censored down the road, I always said I'm gonna make the album as hard as possible and then we'll see when we hit the line if someone has a problem with it. I do have a moral compass, but it's not like yours. I can do a record like Here I Go Again, which is about serial killers and stuff, but then I would never say that I would shoot or touch a kid. I know I have my line is drawn where my line is drawn.
So with the censorship, especially on the Iceberg album, that was a big theme of that project and what was going on in your career at the time. So that being said, what positive and negative looking back did that period was that? How did that positively and negatively?
Well, everything. I mean, you're growing. Everything that happens. When I first started rapping, I didn't even know I was a gangster rapper. I didn't know what I was, but people started saying, that's what you do, that, stay there. Oh man, you played yourself. That voice, that tone, that's your tone. I remember one night I went to a party, but I wasn't really prepared to perform, and I had on a leather trench coat and shit. And they asked me to come on stage. I ran on stage with my street clothes on. And I performed, and Russell Simmons was there. He said, that's your look. He said, you're not hip hop, that's your look. The way you look, that's who you should look. So all these things are happening to me. When I was in breaking, I thought I had to have on a rap costume. I was trying to be like what I thought rappers look like. Eventually people made the rapper look like me. No, there is no image. Just you are what we like. The positive and negative thing is you learn, you find out there are limits to what you can say. You start off not thinking there are, and then you find out. I didn't know I was going to get in trouble for a cop killer. I didn't know. I thought that was okay. They had rock groups called Millions of Dead Cops. Different people had been talking about cops, this, that, and the other. How would I know that there was limits? So sometimes you have to hit the walls to find out where the walls are. That's why the album was called Freedom of Speech, Just Watch What You Say. You have the right to say it, but you have to be prepared for the ramifications. Earlier, I didn't know that. I thought I could say anything, but no. If I say something that's anti-gay, well, I have to be prepared for the gay people to move on me. If I say something against women, don't get mad because women get mad. You know, you have to be, if I say something against the cops, don't get mad when the cops attack. So think, you know, like I say, you can't go home to your wife and say, I just fucked your sister, free speech. You know, you can't, it does, you have the right to say it, but you also have the right to, they have the right to be mad about it and come after your ass. So, you know, you got to think about it. Think before you speak.
In the beginning, hip-hop was ruled by the East Coast. Then the West Coast rose to prominence thanks to gangster rap.
Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named IceT.
Hip-hop changed the world. Gangster rap changed the narrative.
I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world.
And then changed the world again.
Cause I'll come and take your life away.
The history of gangster rap features unheard stories, unseen photos and documents, all with exclusive interviews from the founders and players who shaped gangster rap.
I think a real gangster rapper has to scare you a little bit.
The history of gangster rap written by veteran rap journalist Soren Baker. In stores now.
Yo, what up? This is DJ Quick. Be sure to pick up my homeboy Soren Baker's book, The History of Gangster Rap, if you really want to know what we do.